I can open it up.
What did I do? As a continuation, annually, we said, the market is still doing fabulous. Interest rates are still very low, very similar to what the rates were last month when we had the sales meeting. So the conventional 30-year fixed is in the 3% range, 3 and 8%. 15-year 2.5, which is again very low interest rate. FHA 2 7/8 to 3%, and mentioning the KFIT program that Henry just had mentioned, they reduced the rate to 3%. So that program by far is a phenomenal program that's available. I've been originating mortgages for many years, and looking back, this program is strong. It's really good. I believe it's here to stay. So for a borrower can borrow 5% of the purchase price towards your down payment and closing costs, and it's forgiven 10% per year. So if they're living in the home for 10 years, that's free money, and they're not even hitting on the first mortgage. Where when the program first rolled out, it was a 3.375, now they lowered it to 3. So they're right in line with what an FHA mortgage is anyway, and they're getting that 5%, which is phenomenal. The Feds met yesterday. No immediate concern, but they always have their hand on the pulse, talk about inflation, and there's things that could trigger higher interest rates, but they haven't seen any big adjustments in that, other than second home and investment properties. That was something that was brought up, and Fannie and Freddie are really rocking with making sure that their investors keep the Fannie and Freddie loans at below 7% of their portfolio for second home and investment properties. So what that does is it brings rates way up for those programs, and I've seen that a few cost sheets that I've done for second home investment property. The rate isn't necessarily horrible. You're still at about a 4% interest rate, around there, but it's the fees. It's very hard. It's almost impossible to get a 0-point quote on a second home and investment property, at least now. Huntington Valley Bank is looking at alternatives, so it would be a non-conforming product in the future, meaning it won't conform to Fannie or Freddie, but there'd also be individual investors that will price lower than the Fannie and Freddie to get your second home investments. I think that's something you're going to be seeing. That's what we're looking into. We don't have it yet, but as Fannie and Freddie rates are so high, we need that alternative. That's all I got.
Great stuff.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, Mark, it's great you bring that up about what's going on economically, especially with inflation.
Yeah.
If you hopped on that KW Connect class from 2 days ago, the class was called 5 tactical ways to thrive in a high demand market. And the first tactic they talked about was knowledge, and having the knowledge within your marketplace. And Brian Gubernick and Sarah Reynolds were running the class, through the top agents within the KW area. And they said, and Brian said, you know what, how comfortable are you when a buyer or seller asks you, hey, how is inflation going to affect the housing, the value of my home? How's that going to affect me when I'm buying? Can you confidently have a conversation around that? Not being we do need to be the economist of choice, right? So he was like, I know a lot of you watching right now may be like, oh, if inflation, rates, that's not my thing. But that would be something great, I guess, for Marie and Mark to keep us abreast with how that will affect the market and how we should be communicating that to our people, because knowledge is power only if you use it. So it'd be great to have it and to use it, more importantly. So excellent. Thank you to both. All right. So I wanted to go over remind everyone of the Keller Williams MVVBP, right? So this is our mission, our vision, our values, our belief system, and our perspective. So how many of you have seen this before, our mission? This is to build careers worth owning, careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving, right? I would want everyone, when they're meeting with the client, when they're engaging with people in the office here, to have all the MVVBP standards embedded in them, because a lot of it can help you, like I said, engage better. And it's just who we are. It reflects who we are and how we're different from the competition out there.
To mention mention, I think it's one of the greatest things in Keller Williams. When I was talking to John before I came over from VMAX, I remember seeing this, and it literally starts you thinking of like where you are now to literally death. That's the way I looked at it, at the bottom, legacies worth leaving, and, what are we doing, on a daily basis, and what habits are we creating, and what things are we doing to sort of do all of these things, and I've always loved that from the beginning. That was I think you ran it right off in your head, one of the first times we met, like, I was like, what? I was like, this is like, so, like, philosophy, and like, I love this, so we brought it up again. Yeah, all right.
And then our vision to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. Notice how it's agents first, right? The thing is, we want to, the customer that Keller Williams is the agent, right? And but we care about the home buyer side, but we care about the agent's relationship with the with the customer, right? Home buyer and seller. All right. Then of course our values, God, family, then business. Okay. And then this is our belief system. So win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, success results through people. What out of these values do you guys see in practice with your real estate business? Do any of these stick out to you? Or to those that are watching from home? Any of these values stick out to how you operate your business, how you engage with your clients? They always talk about the first two being one of the more important ones, win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing. When you're working with a cooperating agent, are you working together with that agent? Are you putting yourself in the shoes of their client, right? To build this win-win relationship, okay? They also jump to the last one here, success results through people. Everyone knows nobody succeeds alone, right? We all need people to help us. Everyone achieves more that way. So I just want you guys to, know that these are the values that we should have when we're helping our people, okay? All right, our perspective, a technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts as a trainer consultant, and focuses all its activities on service, productivity, and profitability. All right. There was a group of team leaders that recently met with Gary Keller, and the one that was representing our region came back with notes on what Gary Keller, he was asking questions of Gary Keller, and one of the things was, where do you see our company in 5 years? And one of the things that Gary said was, hey, this thing called Command that we have? Yeah, it's going to be the #1 platform. I don't care what it takes to get there to have it, but it's going to be the best real estate platform for the agents and their customers. So that was something he was very adamant about. And then, how do we think of ourselves when we walk in here? Are we thinking as a top producer and as a trainer consultant? It's all about service. If you've been following on the stakeholder meetings that I've been having in the morning, we've been highlighting that book, The Experience, the 5 principles of Disney. I can see some head shaking, the 5 principles of how Disney offers excellent customer relationship, right? Productivity, right? All about focusing on the 20% of our day that's going to yield 80% of our results. Lead generation. Profitability, right? Not about what we take in with productivity, but what we take home in the bottom line, right? Managing our expenses. Okay. So perspective. Okay, so we got some birthdays going on this month. So this has been fun. In the stakeholder host, we've been calling these people and singing them happy birthday. So I know I left some voicemails to some people. People have been texting me back like, oh, you made my day. I think it was Lisa that we called earlier this week. She texted me back, oh my God, you made my day. So we're gonna keep it going, but those have been a lot of fun, but nothing beats a summer birthday for sure. So happy birthday to all that are listed here. All right, work anniversary. So this is funny, Scott Leibowitz at the top here, 6 years. I remember when I started, he was maybe 18 when he started. And 6 years, longest tenure here, right? For when we started back in 2015. So I just want to acknowledge these people. Some I can't believe, that long. Gwen, Alicia, wow. Yeah, already been 3 years and doing great things. All right. So I know that we expressed gratitude in the beginning of this call from Justin and Charisse. And, does anyone else have anything that they'd like to share? Maybe it's something kind they'd like to say about someone else in the office. Now's your time. Going once, going twice. All right. All right, so we welcome some new agents in the past month. We have Mario Arnone, Rachel Batesh, and Ashley Gintier. Okay. So much you know Rachel, she is Robbie's better half, right? So Rachel, they will be working as a team from what I yep, Trisha's shaking her head. They're definitely working as a team. And Mario and Ashley are new agents as well. So and they've been in the office a lot lately, which is great to see. Excited to see them produce and engage. Say hi if you see them. All right, and we wanted to welcome the new transfer agents. So we had Rich Webb join us from Century 21. Then we also had Kristen Deerwester from Compass join us. So Rich is, I'm sure many of you know Rich. Rich is a mega agent in the Bucks County area. And we're super excited to have him. It wasn't really a lot of work from our end attracting Rich here. He had friends from the title company that helped out in having him sit down and have the conversations with us. So Rich is transitioning all the business over. And it's been a little bit of an overwhelming thing at first, but he's thank God for the team here with Trish and Caitlin and everyone else. So Rich, I think I saw you on the call. You there? All right, yeah, I think he was driving. Cool. And then we had Kristen come over from Compass. So Kristen started back in January. So she's actually getting a listing very soon. So she's, again, very motivated, full-time, comes from a business background. So just wanted to welcome these new transfers. All right, and then congratulations to agents that have recently capped, newly cappers. So we have Yuri Nemitz, and then we have Jim DiOrlando. So I know these faces look familiar to a lot of people. So, I mean, what you see there is what you get with that face. I mean, it's the same thing you see around the hallway. It's what a guy with a great heart. And Jim is just, you see him if he's not chasing Tom's dog, he's in there grinding and lead generating away. So, and both less than 2 years in the business, so it's great to see them capping and producing and changing their lives. So, just wanted to shout that out. All right. Okay. So it looks like we're running a little early here. I'm gonna bring that slide up a little later, but we do have a special guest coming on. His name's Caleb. Caleb Connect, and he's the team leader over at the KW Exton office. And Caleb also runs a high producing team. So closed about 145 transactions in 2020, and his team produced in volume about 42.7 million. So wanted to get him on to talk about his story, how he started, and how he built his team, and what's next for him in real estate. So it's gonna be fun having him on. All right. So wanted to get some numbers here, and let me minimize this so we can just see the numbers. So for those at home, I'm just minimizing the Zoom screen here. So there we go. All right. So closed units. So I mean, if you see here, there's nothing in the red here with all these categories. So, I mean, now look, a lot of business was shut down at this time last year. So, a lot of people can say that. But when you look at closed units at the top here, month over month up 200%. Okay, that's because we're closed, right? But year to date, 36.2%. So, I mean, for a company that only sells real estate, to know that they're up 36.2% year to date says a lot. I mean, it's all we do is sell houses. And to know that we're up that amount, I mean, it's exciting for our market side, right? Very exciting. Closed volume up 216.8%, 8% month over month. but 49.5% year to date, right? So, yeah, inventories, prices are going up, inventory is still tight. But the thing is too, I was watching a class a week ago, and they said on the class, it was a myth. They said that inventory is not low. A lot of people think inventory is low. It's actually the speed of the inventory of how it's moving over. That's moving over extremely fast because we sold more homes year to date than we did last year. So it's not that there's not a lot of inventory, it's just the speed of how they're moving so quickly. That's what's going on. Some more houses are coming up, they're coming on, but they're going so quickly. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay. Listings taken volume, listings sold, contracts written. I love keeping my eye on this. Month over month, 73.2%, 58.7% year to date. So, I mean, this is very indicative of what the next 90 days are going to be like for a lot of you, for you at home, right? So, this is great. So a lot of you, I guess in the past 30 days, a lot of you sitting at dining room tables of your friends, family members, sphere of influence, even strangers, and convincing them to transact the business with you for you to trust them. So I think it's a great job. It tells me that you guys are going to work, and I think you guys know it's go time, right, Mary? Go time, 100%. Yep. All right, cool. Yep. And then the most important one here that I love is the closed GCI. This is how you guys are getting paid. Month over month, 185.2%, 47.8%. Okay. So, I mean, I can't think of any other industry where you're getting a 47, where other industries are at a 47.8% pay raise. I mean, it's pretty cool. I can't think of another industry that's, can say that their people are at 47.8% pay raise. So just wanted to point that out. All right. So does everyone know what's happening on the horizon here with our market center? We got our culture task force has been working big time in just getting people happy, excited, smiles. So tomorrow we have the cornhole tournament. It's the first that we're having. And for those that are home, in the back here, we already have the tables, the cornhole tables all laid out here with the KW emblem. They look beautiful. So this is going to be exciting. We have Mission Barbecue that's going to be holding the food. There's going to be beverages and a margarita machine. Yes, yeah. Caitlin is very excited about the margarita machine. So yes, yep. Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be tomorrow from 3 o'clock on to whatever. Yeah, I think the Sixers are playing midnight's on the set. Okay, yeah. So so it's going to be in our parking lot, and yeah, I think how many total teams? 21 total teams. 22 teams. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, thanks, Trish. That's the big thing about this. So it was $40 for entry, and that goes to our Sunshine Fund. So the Sunshine Fund is, if anything were to happen to an agent here, we have that fund to help them out. If they're in dire needs, whatever, for whatever happens to them, it's there to help them. So all for agents helping agents, right? I mean, this is all for a good thing. So that's going to be tomorrow. BYOB, absolutely. Make sure you have the Uber app. I don't want anyone, driving home going crazy. All right. Okay. All right. So thank you to the sponsors that are helping us with that. Michael Myers Painting, Rick James Environmental, Greater Penn Abstract, Mark Keller, Ann Leeper, Above All Chimney and Masonry. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully I can see all you there tomorrow at 3. All right. And then save the date we got another exciting event coming up. So we did this last year. I forget what time of year we did this, but this was cool. This was the puppy parking lot party. So it doesn't have to be a puppy. Some people like to call their 150-pound Great Dane a puppy. That's all good. So it could be any dog, right, that you have, right, that you love, that you call your own. Bring your puppy here, and then I don't know if we have like parades. We also have sponsors. You can tell I don't have a dog, right? So right. So yeah, it's just a great event. We're gonna have food there and beverages, and just another way for us to connect and have fun. Right. So that's going to be July 27th at 1 o'clock in our parking lot. All right. And then August 28th at 12 p.m., there's going to be a family picnic at Core Creek Park. So I didn't know much of the specifics on this. So if any, still figuring it out. Okay. Right. Right.
This
Okay.
Saturday.
Yep. All good. So just know that's coming up August 28th. Okay. 12 p.m. Yeah, looks like it may be a hot one, so dress appropriate. All right. And then we have a regional class coming up on July 14th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is called Career Vision. So this is a personality assessment. So I would say that this class could be for anyone to take. More so if you are if you're in the range of doing 15 to 20 transactions a year, you're looking for more growth. Obviously, we talk about leverage, and when we talk about leverage, we ask the questions. All right, do you have the right models and systems for what's going on? Yes. Okay, great. We move to technology. Do you have the right technology that's giving you the leverage? Yes. Okay, great. Now we need to start looking for people. And when you start looking for people, that's when we get into full consulting mode. You start looking, okay, do you need an assistant in your life? Do you need a buyer's agent in your life? Maybe a showing assistant. Do you need another agent that handles both in your world that can help you? So when we get into that aspect of building leverage, when we're bringing people into our world, Keller Williams prefers to have a method of hiring people, and you take them through what's called a career visioning process. They take a KPA assessment, which is a Keller personality assessment, and this is self-discovering who they are, and you're validating the character and behavioral traits of those people that you're looking to hire to see if they would be a right fit for your team, right? So again, if you're not in the realm of doing 15, 20 transactions and looking where down line that you're looking to maybe add some people into your world, you could still attend this class, but maybe it would just get you in that high level thinking. It's always good to be around high level thinking, right? Always.
And I'll comment on it. This used to be a 2-day class. We've done it, right? Or I forget a few times. Right?
Yeah.
So this is just a 1 day, or it's great to do it. And it's sort of a negotiable thing. If you're going to hire anyone, you need to be putting them through it, and you need to understand how it all works. Like, it's been done to me, and then, I've done it. I've probably done 100 of them at least, and I've helped agents, go through the KPA and bringing people in. Just gives you a better idea. There's nothing worse. I've shared the stories of bad hires and the time and money that cost you and your business. And this is just a systematic way to, go through hiring. If they again, you're not reinventing the wheel. That's what, Keller Williams, we always talk so great about. All those systems or models are here. This is just a system for hiring. So, you're not going through a whole new process every time.
Right. Thanks for having that. All right, cool. So I think I saw him come on the call here. So we have a special guest today. His name is Caleb Knecht, team leader over Keller Williams Exton. Happy to engage. I've had the pleasure of getting in a lot of conversations with Caleb from a team leader perspective, helping one another out. And Caleb speaks a lot of wisdom. He has a great story, and I thought it'd be good to come on and share a lot of his wisdom and hopefully help us finish out the year strong. So Caleb, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing good. So I have on the slide here your team production. Is that about accurate? So 145 transactions, 42.7 million in volume.
We did 183 transactions for about 55 million, but who's counting?
Multiple MLSs, right? So.
Yeah, no worries. But I'm super excited to be on here, just to kind of share some of my journey and, kind of my KW story, I guess is what you could call it. But yeah. Do you just want me to get started, man? I'm like I'll just keep going if you want me to.
Yeah. I would say just get started. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I've been with Keller Williams my entire real estate career. Got my license back in 2005. Graduated from Westchester University with no real clue what I wanted to do with my life. I was a marketing major, and my mother was a real estate agent at the time, and she said, why don't you just get your license and work as a buyer agent with me? And if you like it, you can keep moving. And if you don't like it, you can go find something else. So that's what I did. And my first year in real estate, I was 24 years old and I sold a grand total of two houses. So I didn't really come out of the gate super strong. I was one of the things I will say that was really helpful in my journey is I was really into getting better, into training, into learning and growth. And I think when I look back on, any level of success that my team's been able to achieve, that love of lifelong learning and continual growth is probably one of the key reasons why our team's been able to get where they are now. So, but anyway, my second year in the business, and by the way, my first year, I thought about quitting like pretty much every day. I was like, why am I doing this? I'm working so hard. I'm earning no income. It's not fun. I'm getting, picking up the phone and following up on leads and getting rejected left and right. I remember back then I didn't know how to lead generate. So the only thing I was doing was lead follow-up. And so when I would follow up with a lead and they would hang up on me or say something that wasn't very nice, I would crumble. I would just hang up the phone and be like, well, I'm done. I'm not making any more calls today. So it's kind of funny to think through that because over time, I just kind of made more and more calls and got out of my comfort zone more and more. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but my second year into business, I did, I think 8 or 9 transactions. My third year, I did 24. So by year 3, I was starting to have fun. And one of the key learnings that I took away from that is, in real estate, if I would have quit when I wasn't having any fun, I never would have understood if I actually liked the business or if I was any good at it. And so a lot of times in life, whether it's in real estate or some other aspect of our life, a lot of times we have a tendency to quit before we develop any level of competency in what we're doing. And until you are kind of good at it, or at least halfway decent at it, how do you know if you really love it or not? Right. So that was another key learning that I picked up. So then in 2010, I met this guy at my office, Chris Lagarde, who's my business partner. We've been business partners, 50-50 partners in the Chris and Caleb team, since 2010. And so we met at an office Christmas party at KW Exton and became accountability partners. And we knew each other for 3 years. And then he took Bold. And he took the first Bold that ever came to our region. I believe it was in Wilmington, Delaware. And I looked at his numbers that he was reporting. I was like, can these numbers be real? Is this really happening? Because before that, we were just kind of doing around the same production, doing okay, but nothing crazy. And then he took Bold and his numbers just started skyrocketing. I was like, whatever this guy's doing, I got to do this Bold thing. So the next time Bold came around, I jumped on it and took Bold. I was literally, when I was in the Bold classroom, I was sick to my stomach half the time because I was so nervous that I would get called on or I'd have to do something or, it was not a comfortable experience for me, but it gave me so much self-confidence. I started calling expireds. I started calling for sale by owners. I started learning how to really lead generate and put myself out there and find business. And so after taking Bold, I had always known I had a real blessing. Before I ever got my real estate license, I read 2 books. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which totally changed the way I thought about money, finances, real estate investing forever. And then I read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent before I even had my real estate license. And so those 2 books were amazingly pivotal for my vision for the future. So number one, when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, I am going to be a real estate investor. And then I was like, great, now how am I going to earn income to have money to invest in property? And then I read Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I was like, I can do this. I love the idea of being able to build a 7th level business that I could exit one day and still have the business, paying me and my family an income for what I had built. And so I was very clear on my vision. I wanted to be a real estate investor and I wanted to have a 7th level team. And so in 2010, I was getting ready, after I'd taken Bold, I was getting ready to start that 7th level team and start building it from the ground up. Well, this guy, Chris Lagarde, said to me, he's like, hey, did you ever think about us being business partners and doing this together? And I had never thought about it. And when he said it, I was like, this makes a lot of sense because Chris and I are very different people. We share very similar values. We trust each other, and we got to know each other just by being friends and accountability partners. But we have very different, strengths and weaknesses that complement each other really well. So our first year in business in 2010, we closed 50 units, and we were off to the races, hired an assistant very quickly after that. And, have just continued to incrementally build our team since then. And we've learned a lot. We've hired a lot of people that were not a good fit for our organization, and we had no idea what we were doing. We were following the career visioning process as much as we could, and we were still making a lot of mistakes. But now we have really kind of slowed things down a little bit to move further. And so we'll probably close about 200 units this year, I'm thinking, maybe a little bit more, but we'll see. But we've got some great people on the team, and now I work about 5 hours a week on the team, and I'm a team leader for our office. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of talking.
No, that was great. No, I really wanted people to hear the journey of how it started for you and how, because, when someone would meet you, it's not like you're the person like, hey, what's it like? I could see in bold you being uncomfortable. Yes. Going
I'm
back
not
to-
Mike McCann. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yes. Boisterous, whatever. Right. So no, I love that. And when I was listening, I was just trying to find the breakthrough for you and what it was. You mentioned something about a lifelong, just adopting the mindset of being a lifelong learner. Was that more of what that breakthrough was for you, and just being learning based, or can you harp more on that, what the breakthrough was in that 5th year?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that was the breakthrough, but I would say that is definitely one of my keys to, success or getting where I've gotten. The breakthrough moment for me was taking Bold for the first time.
Okay. Wow.
And by the way, I've taken Bold 11 times total. So and people call me Mr. Bold and all these kinds of things. And like, look, there's parts of Bold that I don't like, right? But there's so much good stuff in there. And I didn't feel like after I'd taken Bold once, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I figured this all out. I'm good. I was like, okay, what can I learn from my second Bold, my third Bold, my fourth Bold? And what really ended up happening is by the time I had taken my fourth or fifth Bold, I really started to kind of almost unofficially kind of like co-instruct the Bold because I knew everything, right, in the content, and I could help the other people in the room. And I had an aha one day where I knew I wanted to share something with the group in a Bold class, but I didn't speak up. I didn't say anything. And I realized in that moment, I thought to myself, you know what? If what I would have shared and decided not to, that could have changed somebody's life. That could have changed the trajectory of their life or their career, or help them get a listing or help them close a buyer, or what, you just don't know. And so, because I've thought back on many times when I've been in a Keller Williams classroom and somebody said something that changed my life. So Bold also helped me develop a lot of leadership skills, or at least gave me the confidence that I wanted to be a leader.
So Caleb, we haven't had live Bold since a few months before the pandemic hit. So there's people in this room, there's people on the call that don't know what Bold is. How would you best?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain what Bold is?
Yes, please.
It's intense. It's like boot camp for real estate. It forces you out of your comfort zone, which is probably the best gift that anyone can be given. And it's not always comfortable. It teaches you the nuts and bolts of being successful in real estate, how to have conversations with clients, right? How to have powerful conversations. People don't like the word scripts, Adam. So I just call them powerful conversations instead, right? So if you don't like to use scripts, I don't know anyone who doesn't want to have a powerful conversation. So yeah, Bold really helped me develop my confidence and my skill set. I remember when I took Bold, I started calling expired listings, and I'd never been on a listing appointment. I was a buyer's agent, and I'm calling all these expired listings, and like one of them said yes, that they wanted to actually meet with me. I was like, oh crap, like what do I do now? So I mean, it just got me out of my comfort zone in a lot of different ways. But it prepared me and gave me the confidence to go out there and go out in my comfort zone, because I knew what I was going to say when I got there. So that's another huge opportunity. Actually, Adam, the way you and I got to know each other was from being in the team leader script off challenge, which was amazing. And that helped us become better at our scripts and dialogues. And so I would just say, if you're not regularly practicing those, that's fine, but you'll never be the best realtor that you can be if you're not consistently practicing your scripts and dialogues, because you're just going to not be nearly as effective as you could be. And the conversations won't be nearly as powerful as they could be if you're practicing.
That's great. So powerful conversations, substitute that with scripts. I love that. I never heard that before. So when it comes to lead generation, of course, bold is more of a speed. It's pretty much, if you're looking at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, they focus on prospecting based, marketing enhanced. They're focusing on the prospecting side. So they're saying, here's how you in this class, you're gonna proactively find business. When it comes to you and all the transactions that your team has done in the past year, what is the majority of the lead generation that your team is doing? What are you going after? Where is all the closed business coming from for you?
So Adam, it's mostly database, repeat and referral, sphere of influence stuff. So that's probably about 65% of our deals. We don't pay for very many lead sources at all. We pay for just a very small amount of Realtor.com leads, like $1,000 a month is what we're paying for those. And we didn't even have those last year. We do a little bit of we're a Dave Ramsey endorsed local provider. So we get some leads from that source as well. And we get home light leads, but we don't really pay for a whole lot of different lead sources. We're very much based on relationships and prospecting for our business. We are changing that though. We're about ready to hire probably 2 ISAs. We've hired one already. The other one, we're waiting to hear back if they're going to accept the offer. So really we're moving right now from kind of like a situation where our agents are doing a lion's share of the lead generation. We'd like to move that so that we can become an appointment giving business where we're actually just setting appointments for our team members. That's the vision. We're not there yet though, but we'll be there soon.
Right. And then Caleb, how's the team generating listings? What's been working well with you guys in obtaining listings in today's market? Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, that's what everybody wants to know right now, right? I'll give you a couple of really simple, low cost things that I think people on this call could probably benefit from. Number one thing, as I say, anytime you're driving around and you see a pod or a dumpster in a driveway of a house, slam your brakes on, throw that thing in reverse and go knock on that door, because those people are probably getting ready to sell. They might be remodeling the house if it's a dumpster, but they're probably getting ready to sell. And, knock on the door and say, hey, I couldn't help but notice that you had a pod in your driveway. Do you have anyone that you're working with to handle the sale of your home? And if they say, oh yeah, we actually already do have an agent, say, great. Well, when you're selling your house, there's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake. So wouldn't it make sense to get a second opinion to make sure you have the best qualified agent to handle the sale for you? And most people will say yes to that, even if they haven't, obviously if they've signed a contract, I'm not trying to, do anything there. But if they haven't signed a contract and they just kind of have an agent in mind, I'm going to get that appointment with that seller, and good chance we'll get the listing. So number one is that. Number two, this is pretty much the same thing. It's a little bit of a spin on it. Yard sales. Anytime you see a sign for a yard sale, do the same thing. Pull over. Don't buy a bunch of crap at the yard sale. Just go right over to the table where they have the money box and say, hey, listen, couldn't help but notice you have a yard sale. Have you been thinking about selling your house? A lot of people are selling their house. They're decluttering and getting rid of a bunch of junk when they're having a yard sale. So that's another great opportunity. Is anyone on here ever familiar with or ever heard of yellow letters? No, not me. Anyone? Yellow letters?
Yeah, a lot of real estate investors use these as well as agents. So if you Google yellow letters or go to yellowletters.com, it's a really great opportunity. What they are is basically, it looks like a yellow legal pad, and it looks like it's handwriting on the legal pad, but it's really printed. You can tell that it's printed, but it just looks way more warm and personal than getting a white form letter in the mail. And so anytime we sell a house and we have multiple offers on it and it's in a neighborhood that we really want to do more business in, we'll send a yellow letter out to the whole neighborhood and probably a bunch of other neighborhoods around that as well. And the yellow letter will say, hey, listen, it'll say, we were just hired by your neighbors at 123 Pine Street to handle the sale of their home. Great news. We had 8 offers on it and sold for $40,000 over asking. So that means you have 1 new neighbor and 7 people that are dying to move into your neighborhood that lost out on the opportunity. If you want to be connected with one of those other 7 buyers, please give us a call.
Very creative. Very creative. I like that.
So that works really well. You can also use the yellow letters for buyers. If you have buyers that want to be in a specific neighborhood, you can do the same thing with that and say, hey, look, we've got a buyer. They've lost out on a couple other offers that they made. They would love to purchase a home in your neighborhood. Let me know if you're interested in selling.
Yeah.
And you get leads that are now business, but you also get people who are like, hey, listen, you're not interested right now, but we're going to be selling in the spring. So that's a really great option as well. For rent by owners is a good one too. If you're driving around and you see a for rent sign that, isn't attached to a real estate company, call the number on the for rent sign and say, hey, I saw you had your property up for rent. If I could get you an amazing price for it, would you consider selling? There's a lot of landlords out there that I don't even think know how much they could sell the properties for if you gave them a updated market analysis.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
We're also doing client events and stuff like that now that, things are kind of somewhat back to normal. We're doing an outside like movie in the park. We're going to show the Greatest Showman at the end of June, and inviting all of our clients to come check that out. So yeah, it's okay to get back in person on things like that as well. So yeah, that we just try, most of these ideas are nothing like crazy or new or anything. I'm really good at taking other people's ideas and just copying them, and R&D, rip off and duplicate. That's how we do it.
Right, right. I'm going to get into your listing presentation after I ask this next question. How many times for your past clients, so you said about 60 to 65% of your closed business comes from your database. So there's an awful lot of touches that are going out, purposeful, intentional touches. How many times do you think you're touching your database, your Mets successfully?
I would love to say that we're doing a pure 36 touch or whatever. It's probably closer to like 24, 25. What ends up happening a lot of times is we're really good with the first quarter calls and the fourth quarter calls, and usually the second and third quarter calls don't happen as regularly as they're supposed to because our agents are really, really busy. That's why I'm excited about getting an ISA team up and running, because that will help smooth out that cycle, when our agents get really, really busy in the spring and fall. But obviously this year and last year, it's like, I don't know, everything's busy all the time. So.
Yep. And then talk to us about the listing presentation. So I don't know if you're still going on listing presentations or if you have a listing specialist, or you're working 5 hours a week, you said. So
yeah, I don't sell any houses anymore. My 5 hours is basically spent in leadership, meeting with my key people.
Excellent. So what's different in your listing specialist's presentation than the competition? What do you think is like the key value proposition that's been winning these sellers to sign with your people?
Yeah, this is an interesting answer, and it took me. I was a listing agent for 9 years before I kind of figured this out. So right before I became a team leader, I started to really get some traction with this. But early on, I had a listing package or a pre-listing package that I would go over with the seller, and it would have our team's values in there, and I would read the values off the piece of paper, and it was just like really not powerful at all. And what I started doing though, is I started going over our values as a team, and I had them completely memorized and kind of like a little bit of information on each one. So when I would go on a listing appointment, I'd say, look, here's the deal. Realtors, most of us have the exact same tools to help you market your home. What really matters is who you're going to be working with. Right? And let me tell you about our team and what our values are and see if we're a good fit to work together. So number one, our first value is fun. Life is way too short to not enjoy doing what you're doing every single day. And we love real estate. We love helping people achieve their goals and their dreams. Second one is responsibility. And what that means to me is that when we're working together, like I hope everything's going to go perfect, but I can guarantee you something's going to go wrong at some point, right? What responsibility means to me is that when something happens that is even 1% my fault, I'm going to own it. I'm going to take responsibility for it. And I'm going to come to you and say, hey, look, here's what happened. I screwed this up. Here's my recommendation of how we can get things back in the right direction. What do you think? And we'll just figure that out together, right? That's what responsibility means to me. Integrity, that begins with trust. As far as our team is concerned, as far as our relationship is concerned, I'm going to be looking after your best interest at all times. And that's what integrity means to me. It means doing the right thing even when no one's watching. And so that's my commitment to you when we're working together. Fourth one is growth. We believe on our team that it's never time to just chill out and rest on our laurels. We always want to be getting better, learning how to deliver better customer service experience for you, learning how to become better realtors, become more cooperative, more helpful in our community. We're always looking to grow and get better every single day. And then finally, gratitude. We believe in being thankful and grateful in all things, even when we're rolling out of bed and we're feeling like crap and everything seems to be going wrong. I just stop, I take a deep breath, and I think about all the wonderful things that I have to be grateful for. And then all of my problems that I'm complaining about really don't seem that big in the grand scheme of things. So if that's the type of agent that you want to be working with, then I think we'll be a good fit. If not, that's okay. So that's how I would present that on a listing consultation.
Yeah, that's great. It's almost like you're interviewing them too, the way you started asking that question. Hey, I just want to see if our values align with the two of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work if you read that off a piece of paper, though. It has to come from your heart.
Right. Number one, fun. Number two, responsibility. So what, and then in that listing presentation, what are the common questions that you think are just non-negotiables that you have to ask, that you start off asking, that maybe a lot of agents forget to ask?
Well, I start off before I get to the listing appointment. I do a pre-qualification on every appointment I would go on. And that's rooted in me from my days in Bold, to pre-qualify every appointment. Because what I really want to, and I would ask a lot of questions like, hey, how long have you lived in the house? What improvements have you made since you bought it? Typical stuff like that. And then the most important question that you ask on that pre-qualification though, Adam, is, great. How much were you looking to list your house for realistically, right? You got to use the word realistically. If you say, how much are you looking to list your house for, you get one number. And if you say, how much are you looking to list your house for realistically, you get a different number. So, I mean, that's a big one. And then I'll also ask, are they interviewing other agents, to handle the sale of their home? Because I want to know if I'm competing and who I'm competing with. If I can get that information, that's going to help me.
Right. Excellent. So your team, you have how many people on the team and what are the roles?
We have 12 people on the team. My business partner, Chris, and I are out of production. Chris is a MAPS coach and he's the CEO of our company. He works about 15 to 20 hours a week in our business. I'm the team leader for our office. And then I also work about 5 hours a week in the business. And then we have on the admin side, we have a runner, we have a transaction manager, a junior transaction manager, and a listings manager. On the sales side, we have 5 buyer's agents. We've got a listing agent who is also our director of sales. And we hopefully will be having 2 more. We have one ISA who's accepted the offer and then hopefully a second one. So.
Right. So before I open it up for questions for Caleb here, I have one more for you, Caleb. So you're a team leader of a market center, right? So you did your thing in sales, still doing it, leading a very good team. What made you want to take on a team leader role in a Keller Williams market center?
I wanted a new challenge, Adam. I was getting complacent in my role as a listing specialist. I've been doing it for 9 years. And trust me, I'm sure I could have gotten a lot better and learned a lot more. And I was enjoying it to a certain degree, but I also wasn't waking up and getting out of bed like excited to do what I was doing every day. And so the team leader position had been kind of mentioned to me several times before. And for whatever reason, I really did feel like God was calling me to the opportunity and to the role. And so I definitely took a long, hard look at it the second time around and decided to give it a go. And it's been one of the most hard, difficult things and one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Yeah, you guys are doing great things in that Exton Market Center.
We're working on it, man. Hey, listen, like I started my first year in real estate, I sold 2 houses. I mean, I didn't do much better in my first year as a team leader. So
Right. Yeah, that's such a
I'm a
great.
slow learner. But I'll get there.
That's good. Thanks for sharing all your honesty too. I think people would have really appreciated that, you got out the gates selling a whopping 2 homes and look where you are today. So, I greatly appreciate you sharing your honesty and yeah,
Sure.
it's doing great for you. So, and then, so does anyone have any questions for Caleb? Around anything you heard today about his team? Anyone?
Caleb, this is Justin Dahl. I just want to say thanks again, man. This is great stuff. I love, sharing the culture that we have within Keller Williams and giving people the vision of what it could be if they want to do something with the major team, but even just a first hire. We just talked about career visioning before you came on and how important that process is. Same thing as you guys. I made so many bad hires and lost so much time and money. So yeah, I just love your transparency and coming on. So we really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Of course, man. I appreciate that. And you know what? Career visioning is another class that I will never stop taking that class. I will never stop taking Bold. I will never stop going to the Gene Rivers Business Planning Clinic. Like, these are amazing things that you just build layer on layer on layer every single year that you're with our company and you keep attending these awesome events. I mean, it's just, that's how you build a business, right? You don't say, I went to that class once, so I got it. Like, that's not the right attitude to have. So, but yeah, all of you guys on this call that work with Keller Williams, you're working for the best company on the planet. Like, this company has changed my life in so many ways. That's why I wanted to be a team leader, because I wanted to help change other people's lives in the same way that Keller Williams has helped me change my life. And it's not the red and white of Keller Williams that changes everything. It's the people that are within this company. We have awesome people that are leaders, that are trailblazers, that are into living truly abundant lives, not just selling a bunch of homes and having your marriage get destroyed or your kids not like you anymore or anything like that. Like, this company is all about creating and living abundant and big lives, and that's why I love being a part of KW.
Excellent. All right. Does anyone have any more questions for Caleb? All right. Well, Caleb, thanks again. I'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
It's been great. Love everything that you share. It's you're doing
Thank you, everybody.
all the best stuff. So thanks again from Newtown.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Yep.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Yep. All right. All right. Well, there we go. That was Caleb Connect. So yeah, it was great that like I said earlier, that he and I connected on the TL scripts, and we practiced a lot in the mornings, and got to learn a lot about his business. But I loved his honesty on how he started in real estate, and I thought it was great for him to share that with everyone. So hopefully that's good nuggets out of that. So. So we have a special guest today. We have Jerry from MSR Mold Restoration. So Jerry's going to come up here and tell us a little bit about his program. I'm going to jump slides here. Hang on a second. Yep. Yep. No, I just had it at the bottom. Oh, okay. There we go. I think that's what's going to be. Yep. I'm going to jump here. Hang on, guys. Yep. It's going to be another 20 seconds. Here we go. There we go. Okay. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Jerry Kieslake. I am with MSR Restoration. MSR stands for Mold Solutions for Real Estate Professionals. I'm going to talk a little bit about our company at the end. Today's gonna be educational, but, we only work with realtors, real estate professionals, attorneys, and the like. Much like Adam, talked about today with the interest rates, knowledge is key. So I do a full presentation that's entitled Mold, Myth, Solutions, and Reality. So basically, we dispel the myths about mold, all right? We speak to reality and we offer solutions. So today's gonna be talking about what the myths are. So you'll see on the, can you get back to the floor there, Tony? Yep. So what I did was, I have a little pop quiz here, and I wanna, and I do this for the people that are buying the homes, and those of you who are millennials, I apologize, I have two millennials, but millennials are scared to death of the M word, okay? So what I try and do is to make them feel more comfortable. So one of the big things that they don't realize is mold spores are everywhere. When you open the door or the windows to your house, the mold spores magically come in, okay? So there is a level of airborne mold in every building. The question is, what is that level and what is your and my tolerance to that level? I am allergic to mold, and I just turned 39 and I'm still living, all right? So accelerated mold growth does not affect everybody the same. If you're not allergic to mold, you're not going to feel it. There are some molds out there. One is Aspergillus penicillium. It's a white mold commonly seen where there are water issues, and that's a penicillin-based mold. So those of us who are related, allergic to penicillin are going to feel that more. All right. So that was false. Whitish deposit on concrete walls, indication of mold. Is that true or false? Anybody here want to answer that? False. False. And that's false because
there's on the concrete wall, that's usually from the metal.
correct. That's correct. So that's called efflorescence, and that is block walls are naturally porous. The water comes in, it evaporates, and it leaves a chalky substance. That's how you can tell too. Mold is fuzzy. So I get it, and if it flakes off of my hand, it's going to be efflorescence. Okay. Another sideline too is sometimes you're going to see a rust-colored deposit. All right. You ever go to the office parks like here, you see the sidewalks are rusted. That's the iron leaching from the soil. It's the same thing. Instead of the mineral deposit, it's the iron. And a lot of home inspectors think that's mold. Mold is not rust colored. All right. Mold will grow in insulation. True or false?
True.
True. It's actually true and false. I'll tell you why. So paperback fat insulation, mold grows on organic materials, which would be wood, concrete, and drywall. It's not the drywall itself, it's the paper coating on the drywall. Mold will grow on the back, the insulation part, if there is dirt or dust in the insulation. It will grow on the paper, okay? Painting over mold is an effective way to seal mold. So, I missed number 4. Bleach, is bleach an effective way to kill mold? Anybody?
Yes.
That is false. Bleach is the absolute worst thing you can use to kill mold on any porous surface. That's the number 1 myth, okay? You look at me like I'm crazy. Well, I am crazy. I'm not going to deny that. All right, so here's what happens. Mold grows when you have water, moisture, and organic material. Bleach is 92% water, and we put it in a bucket and we add water, all right? The active ingredient in bleach is chlorine. When the chlorine gets into the pores, it locks the water into the pores and explodes the growth. I had a young fellow one time who called me. He described a basketball-sized mold on his drywall. He told me, I'm laughing at myself on the phone. He said, yeah, before I went to work, I sprayed with bleach and water. And when I got home, it doubled. All right, so he said, you know what I did? And the definition of insanity, he said, I did it again the next morning. I said, so what happened? He said, how soon can you get here? Okay. All right, so we use hydrogen peroxide. What that does, it steams the mold off as water vapor. Okay, and then we simply wipe it off. So bleach is a no-no. On tile and granite, it's fine. All right, and for those doubters out there that are pecking away doing the Google, go to EPA. It will tell you that it's not recommended. All right. Painting over mold is an effective way to seal a mold, so it will not increase in size. True or false? False. False. Okay. If you go into one of your client's basements and they have dry lock on the walls and you see black coming through, I say to the homeowner, how long ago did you do that? 2 or 3 months? Yeah, how'd you know? Because if you don't get rid of the mold that's on the block wall and you cover it with the kills, it eventually will bleed through. Okay, so it needs to be remediated first and then put the dry lock on there. All right, can mold cause structural damage in homes?
No.
Yes. All right, mold is a living organism, and we talked about it needs moisture, water, or organic material. The mold is constantly eating and looking for new sources of organic material. I'll give you a case in point, Lafayette Hills. I went into, and the buyer gave me the seller's name. She said, my buyer dropped out. Watch this lady. Okay, so here's how it went. I went in there and they had a sauna. Sauna should never be endorsed, okay? Water, moisture, and organic material. And it had like a crawl space below all the framing was. And the mold was so much, it looked like dried mushrooms, and it was layer upon layer. It was actually growing at about 8 inches from the joist, right? Yeah. I went to squeeze the joist and it was like a sponge. Then I went to push up the subfloor and it all came up off of the joist because the nails were not holding anymore. Okay, so that will actually keep eating away at the product there. I told the woman, you don't need me. She said, well, I need a number. I said, you need a contractor to get that thing torn down, taken out. She said to me, well, I just need a number for my buyer. Remember, the seller's realtor told me to watch out for her. She said, how about we do this, Jerry? I'll just say 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You get your foot on the floor when you get to the right number. I said, I gotta go. All right, I gotta go. Sellers today are a little bit, with, the market, they think they have it, they can do that. All right, mold on attic rafters will grow on which side of the attic?
North.
Very good, very good.
West side, is that one?
That's correct, that's correct. If you go into an attic in the winter and it's warm, Houston, we have a problem. So after the roof leak, the main cause of mold in attics is lack of ventilation. What happens is we're looking at our attic, no air gets in by the eaves or the soffits because we have covered it with insulation. Or in older homes, it's been blocked off with wood. All right, so what's supposed to happen is the air is supposed to come in through the soffits or the eaves and go out through a bridge vent. All right, so that causes it to get too warm. There's condensation. The southern side gets more sun, to your point, and then the north side doesn't. So a lot of times we do just the north side of the attic to do that. If you have a roof fan from before a ridge vent was put in, running a roof fan with a ridge vent and properly flowed soffits or eaves is a big no-no. It actually decreases the effectiveness of the ridge vent, because what it does, instead of all of the air coming up the sheathing like that, the ridge vent takes it, it's in the middle, and it makes two opposite J's. And the air never moves across the sheathing, okay? The fan is there for moving air. Now you have a ridge vent, you don't need that, okay? So it's not so much the temperature that causes the mold, it's the lack of air moving through that comes in there. And attics in the summer get to 150 degrees. Studies have shown that having an attic fan brings it down to a balmy 145, okay? So ridge vent fans are a big no-no. In flood situations, if I extract the water, I'm good to go for getting rid of the mold growth, right? False. False. All right. Why? I'm gonna pay the bill, right? Here's why. So once again, we talked about water and moisture and organic material. What happens is this: when you have a flood, let's take it to a finished basement. We have drywall here. The water gets behind the drywall. It's called the wicking effect. The block wall and or the wood's like a live tree. It takes the water and it sucks it up, okay? So what has to happen is we have to cut the drywall, we have to put blowers in there and then treat the actual block wall or the framing to make sure that doesn't come back. Can you flip to the brochure next? All right, here's the commercial.
That one's not in here.
Okay, all right. All right, so the brochure is on there. I'll just talk about this again. We only work with realtors and whatnot, so we do the following things. Number one, inspections are always free. They're always done the next business day, all right? We are here to make sure that you can get your information quickly, whether it's a 10 or 14-day period. We do it the next business day. Saturday is a business day for us, okay? From there, we give you a price there, right on the spot. It's gonna be within $25 to $50 of the final number. If your mobile mediator doesn't give you a price that day on site, they probably tried to scare your client first. They go back to the office and say, geez, I wonder how scared they were, and adjust their price, okay? So that's what we do. We get the proposal back to you within 2 days. It has pictures and arrows. I tell people never take a mold report from a mold guy without pictures. They say, what do you mean by that? I said, you'll figure it out. okay? I saw one for $20,000, you have mold remediated sign here, that's basically what it said in one paragraph, all right? The other thing is on pricing, we don't advertise on the internet, we have a website, but we don't pay to get on Google on page one. Anybody know how much it costs for Google for page one? It's like $5,000 a year, and it's a 20-mile radius, so we go from Bucks down to Delaware, out to Chester, from southern Middlesex County down to Cape May, it costs us about $80,000 a year. So you know what our marketing cost is? You're looking at it, all right? I'm in, okay? So we go on referrals, all right? So that's how we do it. So that pricing will get us at least 25 to 40% below most of the local people. The national companies, let me just tell you one quick story. I did a quote in Margate. The couple lived in Cherry Hill over in Camden County. I thought it was their shore house. They were flipping it. So I got a great price from a company on my attic, really. So I went down and it's a typical thing. It was the north side of the attic. So I had the number there. I said, just tell me who did your quote. It was one of the national companies. I said, I guarantee you, she tell me the price, I'm gonna be 70% lower. So she gave me their price. My price was $910, they were $2,000. I'm sorry, I'm only 68% lower. It wasn't 70, okay? We run lean and mean. My business partner and I work out of our homes. The trucks, we don't have, the little employees keep the trucks, they take them back and forth, all right? So we make a good margin, but not a healthy margin. We do not price by zip code and car to driveway, okay? A gentleman who my business partner used to work for when he first got into business, asked him, because he was thinking of starting a business with his other buddy, how do you price? He goes, gentlemen, I do it by zip code, car to driveway. So a house on the beach in Margate that had some issues, our 6450 was his $18,000, okay? The other thing that we do too is that if you have a buyer that's a little bit nervous and they will, I have two millennial sons, they are a millennial mold manic, and they're gonna die from mold, I talk them off the mold ledge. Most of them, okay? I've spent as long as 45 minutes doing that. Yeah. I had a kid one time that came down the stairs. I said, Jim, he's 25, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being worse, you have a 2 in the attic and 2 in the basement, and he's looking with a look of fear. So he's behind me, I'm at the door. I never lost eye contact. I opened the door, and said, there's mold spores around you right now. 30 seconds later, he said, oh, when you open the door, the mold spores come in. I went, bingo, there we go. So you have to understand, that's where they're coming from, because you know, if it's on the internet, it must be true. All right, so that's our program. You have my information on the card. Like I said, we do inspections the next business day, and they are always free. Thanks for your time.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks,
Jerry.
Jerry, appreciate it.
Very.
Did anyone have any questions for Jerry? He's still in the room. About mold? I know he left. No, he's here. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Going once, going twice for Jerry. Okay, great. All right. Today, guys, I wanted to just back up on some slides here. I don't have the mouse, but May have saw the answer already. But so here's the big question. Who wants to be a millionaire real estate agent, right? When it comes down to the models, what are the 3 L's of the millionaire real estate agent model? What are the 3 L's?
Leads,
Leverage.
listings, leverage.
Okay, excellent. Yep, leads, listings, and leverage, okay?
That's our calling up the new people.
Yeah.
I know, yep. So the first L is lead generation, okay, or leads. So would anyone want to share what tactics have been working well for them recently for lead generation? Maybe there's something different in your powerful conversations that has changed, that's been getting you appointments, that's been getting contracts signed with you, that's been getting people to make offers and listen to you. Does anyone want to share?
Just consistency, and that's what we're talking
Consistency?
about in our thing, and
Right.
just no one is doing it consistently enough. Like Caleb, I know him and his partner,
Mhm.
and for years, it's just, they're consistent, and they went after everything. We're just talking about being consistent with your sphere and database, and we're not doing enough of that, and then that's the issue.
Yeah.
And when we do it, great things happen, and I share that with everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I've been back at it just 2 weeks now, doing it consistently, and it's, you know, the numbers are crazy.
Yeah, well, consistency has always been the #1 battle with agents because life gets in the way, the income servicing side of things gets in the way, right? And we all want to be as consistent as possible. what has been working, so like Justin, what's been working best for you as of lately being consistent?
Yeah, no, just like making the time and saying you're gonna do it. The one thing you'll realize when you start doing this more is that you need to do it more. So like I'm saying, Wednesdays 10 to 12. But, we had it yesterday, Marion, her aha was like, I left 20 messages or something. So she didn't really connect with people. She reached out and left messages, but
Right.
you realize you gotta do more of it
Right.
to have that breakthrough.
Right.
And it's really just Ford, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dream, that's all you're doing is calling someone about it. It's not that hard, and for some reason, it's the hardest thing that we do in our job as agents, is to
Right.
consistently call all your database.
Right.
Or lead follow-up.
Yeah, so there was something that you said that I know we picked up in the previous books that we read and everything, especially in the 12-week year, but you have people now that are holding each other accountable. So you were doing it with, for example, Stuart and Marion, right?
Good, man,
So-
Vince,
Well, yep. What we learned about in the 12-week year, in that book, they had what was called WAMs, weekly accountability meetings. So if you had goals set, you were meeting with people that also had their goals set, and you were talking about what was completed and what wasn't, right? And then you worked on, okay, well, I didn't lead generate today. Well, what got in the way? Well, for me, it was X, Y, and Z. Oh, you know what usually happens for me when X, Y, and Z get in the way? I usually have X, Y, and Z take care of that, or I usually do this or that, right? So the people aspect is what's going to help us stay more consistent. You always have to engage with people in order to find answers to help you, right? So when in doubt, when it comes to leads and lead generation, always look for new creative ways in engaging and interacting with people to help hold you accountable, right? How about listings? Does anyone want to share any tactics that have been working lately for listings? So in that class, the 5 tactics to thrive in high demand market that was on the international Keller Williams Connect 2 days ago, they said that if you want listings and you're having those conversations with your database, talk about listings. Talk about the testimonials you have. But yeah, I don't know if Grace Cass is on the call, but Grace Cass, all right, so for example, if I was Grace and I was talking with a past client and they were like, hey, Grace, how's your job doing? Yeah, oh, great, I'm glad you asked. Did you know that I sold a house $110,000 over asking price? Get out. It was crazy. There was multiple offers. This is what I told my seller, and I said, do this, do that. So when you're talking about listings and you're talking about the testimonials that you've been having, that's when these people know, okay, this great. I didn't know there was so much work in around getting a listing and handling multiple offers. I thought it was very easy to sell at above asking, at asking, whatever. I know it's a seller's market, but wow, you really need someone good. It sounds like Grace went through this whole, crazy circus and put it all together and got these people 110 grand over asking price, which is a true story. I don't know if she's on the call, but she did get one for 110 grand over asking price, right? So talk about listings, right? The other thing too, that last L, when it comes to leverage, what tactics are you guys using with leverage? Well, I saw her on the call earlier. She's here for everyone. Her name is Tracy, and she's with Beyond. So when it comes to having another person working on your team that's handling all your contracts to close, right? That you're paying for an a la carte service. I mean, when it comes to leverage, I mean, I can't get better than that in the sense that, hey, and too, I know we're all control freaks at times. We want to make sure we're doing everything to our liking. But when it comes into the summer months, let's know that, hey, we can't, just how Caleb said, we've got to have a life worth living here, right? We got to have the time spent with our family. We don't want to build anything hostile in our household. If there's an opportunity for leverage, let's learn how this person can make our lives better. Let's engage with it and let's implement it, right? Excellent. Now, I know a lot of people have been using Tracy as of lately, so excellent. And then guys, did you know that this month is National Homeownership Month? The whole month of June, okay? So when you're calling your people, right? You're calling your database. First off, I hope everyone is, if you sold a house to someone within the past 120 days, I hope that you connected with them at least once. I hope everyone did, right? That's what we should be doing, okay? Right up there with the American dream of home ownership is also home equity, okay? So another thing that we should be mindful of is making sure people know what the home equity is in their home. Hey Stuart, how you been? Right? Hey Stuart, what was the most recent loan payout? I wouldn't go out and ask you that, but we should be mindful of maybe asking people, texting them, hey, if it was in a 36 touch or whatever, hey, what's your loan payoff? I'd love to run a home equity statement for you, right? So when people are getting their home value less their loan payoff that you're asking for, and they're getting a more accurate, home equity estimate of their home, that's talking about wealth building right there, right? For them, that's you saying
American-
you're concerned about their wealth.
The national homeowners, they sold yesterday, is $2 trillion in equity in people's homes right now in the United States.
Yeah.
2 trillion.
Right.
Insane.
Absolutely. So don't let people go to other apps to look at his estimate to make them feel happy about themselves. You can do that, right? Everyone can do that. Call them. Let them know you care. Do you want the home equity in your, do you want to know, are you curious about the home equity in your home? Have these conversations, right? Cool. So, yeah, so in that class, the 5 tactics of thriving in a high demand market, they said number one, and I said at the beginning of this session here, knowledge, right? Like, for example, could you talk to a buyer or seller comfortably about inflation, how it affects the real estate market, right? Hey, are you owning a market area? If Newtown Township or Upper Makefield Township is your primary market area, are you getting emails from Bright? Do you know what homes came up for market? Like what homes came up as a coming soon? What homes are newly active? What homes just sold? Are you getting those email reminders every single day? Can you speak it fluently to someone in that area every single day, right? Know your target audience. Know your target audience is the second one, right? So, if it's first-time home buyers that you want to work with, right? If it's move-up buyers that you specialize with, know what that target audience is that you want to cater to. New construction, whatever, right? Put yourself in those people's shoes. What are the common fears that people have about first-time home buying, about buying new construction, about move-up buyers, selling a home and buying a higher price home, right? What are the fears that they have? Put yourself in those shoes. Develop some sort of Zoom client event where you bring on an expert to address those fears, right? The 5 fears of moving up and buying real estate, right? Higher financial payments. Maybe you have like a financial advisor come on, but you got to be creative in reaching out to that target audience, right? And then the third thing is build an agent-to-agent referral network. Are you guys connecting with agents on a broadband? Are you building relationships? Okay. And then the last one is embrace your sphere, right? Always got to be talking to them. And that's the key thing that I want everyone to just know. If you want listings and you're engaging in conversations with others, share a testimonial about a listing you sold. Let them know that you know how to sell listings, sell homes, right? Cool. All right. Well, that's going to sum up everything that we have for the meeting today. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? Or, yeah.
Oh, no,
Okay.
Ready for cornhole?
All right.
I'm ready to lose at cornhole.
All right, so hey, reminder for everyone, if you have to come here late, tomorrow we have the cornhole competition. It's gonna be starting at 3 o'clock. We're gonna have Mission Barbecue, we're gonna have beverages.
Anyone's welcome to spectate.
Anyone is welcome to spectate. Thank you. Yes, yep. Great. All right, everyone, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time in person as we're gonna start doing these more in person. So enjoy your day, and we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow, Friday. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Either Mara or Tara.
Ooh, we're tapping out.